It is. Okay. So let me introduce you to our other co-host is Rob Spinoza of RPM Mortgage. He's a mortgage broker. And Rob, we have John Majalca on the phone, and John is
nice Irish name.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and John is from Texas, and he's going to talk about investing out of state.
But John, do you primarily invest in Texas?
Yes, like I said, I started in Boston, and I just didn't break in. I was qualified for 80,000, and everything I was looking at was 700,000.
Yeah, that'll shorten. Yeah, that'll shorten the leash quite a bit.
About my little 80,000 in San Antonio primarily, and I've been doing very well.
And so you've been attracting, private individual investors for your business model successfully locally, mostly.
Oh well, I was borrowing money and doing all the investing myself, and then the bank in 2008 stopped lending money.
Fancy that, boy!
Yeah.
I've heard that a
Yeah,
million times.
what's wrong with you guys? So anyway, so as of maybe 2009. I didn't even realize what's happening. I'm like, what's subprime? Who cares?
Yeah, right.
Money. But anyway, it's a long story. But probably 2009, 2010, I started looking for big private money type lenders to let me borrow money. And what I found out is they didn't want to lend. They're like, I want to physically control the asset. Some investors were like, I'll buy the house, and I'll give you a commission or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, then we can do that. So it's up to the investor. We promote property with a great cap rate. It's up to the investor. If he wants to buy and resell it, retail or owner finance or rent it out or whatever.
Okay. So I've got an idea. So we'll just, it'll be conversational. It'll be it'll be easy. It's really kind of informational for our listeners here in the Bay Area who hear us talk about Bay Area real estate all the time, but and may or may not have an interest or curiosity about what's happening in Texas. So we'll make it conversational. We'll just throw some questions your way. If you want to promote, do you have something you'd like to promote, like a book or a website or a program or?
Yeah, and I don't do a lot of the promotion. Joe does, so it's like
Okay.
I have a website.
Oh, good. Well, that's good.
Put that on that. I'll put that on the air.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Here we go. Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing on Talk 910. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm proud to have as my co-host Mark Hahn of Pacific Private Money, one of California's fastest growing mortgage investment firms, and Rob Spinoza of RPM Mortgage. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Now, you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during this show. And the vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, which is located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. Those vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to cover the housekeeping expenses. Today's trivia theme, in honor of the fact that summer is just about gone here, is the Beach Boys.
Okay.
All right? So if
Good.
you like the Beach Boys, these questions are hard.
Yeah.
Got you there. Okay.
I don't like hard Beach Boy questions.
No,
It's
you like the
easy
easy ones. Okay. Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on television, Comcast Channel 26, and AT&T Channel 99, Saturdays at noon, Sundays at 6 p.m. Today we have a special guest, John Majalca, who is from San Antonio, Texas area, and he's going to discuss investing in real estate outside of California.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because we usually talk about all our California deals. And John,
I
welcome.
wish they could all be California deals.
Yeah, very good. That's our first question.
Yeah, right.
Okay, John, welcome to The Best of Investing.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here today.
Okay.
Hey, John. So we know a lot about investing in real estate in California. And we know what happened to the real estate market in California in 2008, 9, 10, and what's been happening in the last few years. And the big run up, the big run down, the big run up again. I understand that in Texas, the real estate market didn't quite react the same way it did in California. What happened in Texas?
Well, primarily I buy in the San Antonio area, and in my location, real estate prices during the crash, subprime crash, probably went down 10%.
Okay.
10%. Oh my
We'll
gosh.
trade you for that.
Yeah, we'll trade you for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. In the middle class areas where properties are 200,000, 300,000, but then I deal in affordable housing, which is 75,000 to 100,000, and those houses maintain their value. The guys that were in the $300,000 house needed my $75,000 house.
Got it.
Those affordable homes really didn't lose that much value at all.
And so, how's the market been the last couple of years? I've heard really good things about certain markets in Texas for real estate investing.
Texas right now is extremely strong. Austin, Houston, Dallas, and then I'm in San Antonio. And the properties that I'm dealing with have doubled and some even tripled in the past 5 years.
Well, so you got to figure, there's no taxes in Texas. That kind of helps things a bit. It's very, very business friendly.
So doubled and tripled in value. Is that ever happened in Texas, to your knowledge?
I've been investing in San Antonio for 14 years, and I've never seen that happen. Normally, our prices go up every year, 5 to 10%.
Okay.
On average.
Now, do you think that? Now, I know that when I go to real estate events, that either in California or sometimes in Las Vegas, I see a lot of people promoting investing in Texas as being a better opportunity for returns. And do you think that there's a lot of outside money coming in investing in Texas? Do you think that might be one of the reasons why it's running up, or is there other factors?
Well, we've had a major oil boom south of San Antonio. There's massive oil.
Well, that was actually going to be my next question for you. Is what are oil prices doing to the broader Texas economy? I mean, I'm sure it's all regional, and Houston might see more of that than other areas. But how does that impact the state, for example?
Yeah, right now it hasn't done a whole lot. But if it continues for the next say 3 to 5 years, we'll see crash.
I just read today that Caterpillar was laying off 10,000 people between now and 2018 as a result of lower oil prices and lower economic activity across the globe. But again, oil prices being a component of that, and I would just be curious about Texas for that.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, John, we don't like to use the word crash around here on this show.
Well, I mean,
we say
correction.
There might be a correction.
That's okay. That's right. No, the thing I really appreciated though is the reason I had John on the phone is or on the show is that I had gotten hooked up through somebody else who hooked me up with John. And the interesting thing is the houses he's dealing with, you buy them for like 50, 60, 70,000, and then you put about 10,000 or so in rehab. But the best part that I like is that they're not just renting the houses out, because renters, only take care of properties so well.
Yeah.
Owners take care of properties better. So what ends up happening is you flip the property to an end buyer for, let's say, 99 or 100,000. So there's capital gain built in.
Right.
But a lot of these people are not paying cash. So what ends up happening is they put 5 or 10% down, and then you sell or carry back at 10% interest the balance. So you're making capital gain as well as a decent interest. Now, albeit if someone's putting 5 or 10% down, it's a little higher LTV, but you're not talking millions of dollars. You're talking about 100,000.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, what John did, and the reason I'm saying this is because he did this exactly for me. I heard about this, and the referral to John. John seemed like a nice guy. I asked him a whole bunch of questions, got a couple of referrals, and I said, this seems kind of fun. I'm going to try this. Yeah. So sure enough, John laid it out for me. He said the house that I'm looking at for you is going to cost $60,000.
Okay.
The rehab's going to cost $10,000. He says, I think we'll sell it somewhere between $95,000 to $100,000.
Okay.
First of all, it'll take about 3 weeks to do the rehab, and then.
So, and that was my other question. Is that, and they've kind of got
John's got the group.
Get it all figured out.
Yeah.
Okay.
John's got the group.
Got it.
So, and
it's a sure thing.
Yeah, and he gave me the breakdown as to a kitchen's going to cost this. It needs walls here, blah blah blah.
And Edward, when you were telling me about this the other day, you said he hit every number exactly as he.
Right on the money.
That's
literally. Okay, so I closed escrow. The house was $60,000. Then, I gave him like a $3,000 deposit towards the 10.
Got it.
Then when it was finished, I gave him the rest of the 7. He showed me pictures, and then literally, I think it was less than 2 weeks. He had 2 offers, one for $99,000 and one for $100,000. We actually accepted the 99,000 because John looked at the file and said, I think this borrower is a little stronger.
Yeah.
So John, we're doing the whole show.
Yeah,
for you.
I know.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So how many outside of Texas investors do you have? Do you have many like Edward from California, or is this something you're just starting out starting
So
to?
I've been dealing with California investors for 14 years, but here the past 5 years, after 2008, I've seen a tremendous increase of California investors and New York investors and New Mexico investors, China investors, Australia. I mean, they're just coming from all over, and I'm like, oh wow.
And the thing is, I sold the house. I got $5,000 down,
Right.
and I'm carrying $94,000 at 10% interest. And the guy made his first payment. We just literally closed a little less than a month ago. So the guy made the first payment right on. In fact, he made a direct deposit into my bank account.
So John, is this your most the transaction that Edward just described that he participated with you on? Is that your most common transaction that you work with investors?
Yeah, owner finance is the most common. Most investors are tired of it. People tearing up their property, and when you do an owner finance, the property is well maintained.
Yeah.
And people love it, and they don't have any leaky faucets, toilets, roof. If anything goes wrong with the property, the buyer has to.
Yeah, they're going to fix it. And here's the other thing is that, so I did have to do, I gave a seller carryback, and I gave a 30-year fully amortized loan.
That's the questions I was
I knew you were going to ask that. I can see that in your eyes. So it's a 10% interest rate, okay? But the idea is, and John, correct me if I'm mistaken, but you actually kind of try to help these buyers eventually, get the credit that's needed to get a real bank loan.
Right, that was my next question. So then there's a component of this dealing exclusively with the buyers and finding them. They're a select pool too that are interested in buying, have the means to do it, and need this vehicle to do it. Yeah, interesting.
So, John, on average, what are you finding? It takes about 2 or 3 years for these people to get bank financing?
Correct. We have to educate them to establish, your lines of credit, typical type.
What if I don't want you to? I want to carry it for 30 years.
Yeah, and if you don't want to, people are like, oh, that's, I don't have to repair my credit. It's wild that are cash-based individuals.
Right, there you go. Yep.
They're cash-based, and they're okay with paying you for 30 years.
So, John, what kind of cap rate then are you seeing your investors receiving?
Typical cap rate is 10%. That's average.
I think it's more than that, seriously, because not only are you getting 10% on your money, but then there's a capital gain that's built in.
Yeah.
Now, if it takes 30 years to get it, then it probably goes down a little bit.
So, John, if anyone listening is interested and would like more information about how they could participate in a very interesting investment program in Texas, one of the hottest markets in the United States today, real estate markets, that is, you have a website, I understand. How can people find out more information and contact you?
Right. The website is impactinvestingtexas.com.
Impactinvestingtexas.com.
Awesome.
Cool.
The thing is, if everybody calls, there's not going to be inventory for me. So that's okay. You know what? We like to help our investors,
it's really
our listeners.
Yeah, it's really cool too because you do get locked into a California way of thinking, and when you hear about things like that, it's kind of like when people talk about global politics and they say, "Oh, that works in Sweden." Well, it doesn't work in the United States. That's because the population of the United States is 10 times Sweden's, for example. And you're dealing in Texas. What that model may not work in California just because of purchase prices.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, how many people are out there who they want to invest in real estate, but they've been told, "Well, sure, do you have $500,000?"
Exactly. So I think the listeners here in our local area might have just written that off and say, "Oh yeah, well, where am I going to find that?" But there you go. It's not in this state, but it's still viable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally my total investment in this was $70,000.
Yeah.
And that was all cash. I didn't get any financing on it.
Right.
Maybe John, if somebody, let's say only had $25,000, I guess they could get the hard money loan from Mark maybe or something, or someone, right? Do you work with hard money lenders?
Yeah, you can get a conventional loan through a bank and or a mortgage broker, and then you would have after once you do the owner finance, it would be under a wraparound mortgage.
Yeah.
We do that all the time.
Is there still a lot of inventory for the type of investing strategy that you're employing in your marketplace?
For the past 14 years, I get about 2 solid deals a week.
Wow.
100 deals a year. I mean,
All right, that's it. I'm moving.
I know that's the thing. It's like
like you can find stuff that's distressed now to do that kind
Yeah.
of work to. I mean, it's really.
I mean, it's like,
hard to come by.
yeah, I know. I'm thinking, gosh, if I lived there, how much easier it would be. You know, it's always this hard thing because I'm in California, and what am I going to do? Get on an airplane? But you know what? I thought, this sounded really good, and I like the idea of the owner financing rather than renters, because they're not going to just throw away $5,000 or $10,000, and they're going to take care of the house if they bought it. And that's the good. How often? In fact, let me ask you, John, before we let you go, how often have you seen people actually have to foreclose?
Let's just say out of 100 houses a year that we do, in 3 to 5 years, maybe 10, 20%, depending on what's happening.
And they get the property back in decent shape so that they can sell it again?
Yep, you get it back and you do it again.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember even during 2010 hearing stories of people getting foreclosed on, and they were embarrassed because of it. They would literally get the house cleaned before they handed it over. I don't know.
It's like cleaning the house before the cleaning.
Yeah,
comes.
exactly. Very cool. Okay, John. Before we let you go again, go ahead and give out your phone number too, in case people want to give you a call and ask more questions, and also that website again.
Okay. The website is impactinvestingtexas.com, and our phone number is area code 210-816-4280.
Okay, and do you give our listeners any kind of special bonus for giving you a call?
Free house.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The dog comes with the house.
We help people, and we're revitalizing the inner city of San Antonio. So absolutely, we'll work as a team.
Okay.
Good for you.
All
Thanks,
right.
John. Real great stuff. Really appreciate
Thank you so much for giving us a call.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Have a good day. Bye.
Interesting stuff. Like I said,
Wow. San Antonio, Texas.
all I can say is I did it myself,
Yes,
and
right.
so far so good. I got my first mortgage check, so
Yeah.
So it's not just theory. It really does work. Okay, here we're going to cut to our first commercial break, and here is our first question. Again, the theme is the Beach Boys. You ready for this?
Yep.
In what city in California was the band formed? The first caller with the correct answer is going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this Beach Boys question. In what city in California was the band formed? All right, stay with us. You're listening to The Best in Investing. We'll be right back.
Oil prices keep going down. The real estate market's going to crash here.
You know what? He's an honest guy. That's the thing.
It's like,
Yeah, I know.
okay.
Okay, I'm going to mess
Yeah, it's going to crash.
And the thing is, it's like,
that's
I
funny.
mean, I kind of grilled him quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because 70,000.
Yeah,
is
it
still
ain't
a lot of
shit
money.
peanuts, right? I mean,
So I didn't know he was going to be on, and among the stuff I pulled was this a report from CoreLogic identifies 14 of the top 100 markets in the U.S. is currently overvalued, and 5 of them are in Texas.
oh, it's funny.
Yes, I didn't want to.
Where, Austin?
Well, Austin's one of them.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So these are 5 out of 14.
I honestly don't.
MSAs.
I don't know like Texas. I've only been to Houston there.
Well,
so I
well
don't
here's what I heard him say. You had basically average to appreciation, and all of a sudden prices of houses have doubled and tripled,
Yeah, it's
which
kinda
never
like-
happened before.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me now that here it is: the Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Fort Worth.
Yeah,
Five
I'd
MSAs.
be
and-
really concerned about oil prices. I mean,
yeah.
but
Well, it's already down. Man.
I know that's true
What's
too.
it,
But
$20
the
now?
ripple effect of
It's
of
the
shutting
ripple,
down-
yeah. It's
you know.
it doesn't happen right away,
Right.
I don't know if San Antonio is.
I don't
is
know- I don't know that
that
either.
much
Right.
oil based per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Versus just
You just think Texas is JR with his hat.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
exactly.
it's
So
not-
what do you got? I got a couple of things. I'm sure you got.
we talk about TRID a little bit, maybe.
Sure. The next Franken Dodd monster. that's
Yeah,
about to
I
hit.
have some stuff about median home prices. This I really kind of wanted to cover: California housing gold rush driving demand for jumbo loans.
Oh, good. Yeah.
That's kind of.
Okay, you ready?
Why don't you go ahead, because I've got a couple of things that we can close out with,
Okay.
if we want more nationwide and
All right. Here we go. Well, welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hahn and Rob Spinoza. When we come to the first commercial break, we asked this Beach Boys question: in what city in California was the band formed?
Orange,
Culver.
Sun City.
Hawthorne.
Yeah.
I never even heard of it. All right. Okay, now, before you start on your thing here, we got to tell you, next week we're going to have a special trivia contest. Now, get this. This place is called the Avalon Lodge in South Lake Tahoe. We finally got something from Tahoe. All right. So they have great amenities, like a light, and a lot of these are complimentary, a light and healthy breakfast, activity gear use, such as bikes, kayaks, and snowshoes. And let's see, in every room they have French pressed coffee, robes, free Wi-Fi, love those things. And get this also, just steps to all things fun. You can walk to the lifts or the lake, gambling, dining, and shopping. You know, it's funny because you guys ever stay in places where you can actually like walk to the lift? I only did that once, and it's like I never want to go back to the other.
Yeah.
It's so convenient to do that. They also have a seasonal pool and a year-round hot tub. Check them out, avalonlodge.com. Let's see, 775-783-1175. Tell them that you heard them on the Best of Investing. I'm sure they're going to treat you well.
Indeed. Okay,
so next week we're going to have a special trivia contest for that. Rob, you got some stuff for us?
Yeah, well, we were going to start off with what is going to be coming in about 9-10 days now, and that is the TILA RESPA integrated disclosures. You guys are rolling your eyes. TRID is what we call it in our industry. And
so yet another change in mortgage law is about to hit lenders and will affect borrowers in a big way. And borrowers who are thinking about refinancing or buying a home need to be aware of this.
Yeah, exactly. And it couldn't be better said, Mark, because what's going to happen with this, and you're going to hear real estate agents talking about it more and more as they
complaining about it.
Complaining about it too, but
complaining.
Yeah, what's going to happen is the disclosure forms that you receive as part of your residential mortgage transaction are going to change, and the requirement for waiting before you sign your closing documents is going to be in place as a result of TRID, TILA RESPA integrated disclosure. So I think if you're out there and you're thinking about buying a home, you're in the market right now, you need to be sensitive to this because it will be a factor in your offer being accepted to a degree, because what a lot of real estate agents fear is they're going to start losing out to all cash offers. This regulation is something that confuses them at the outset. They're not exactly sure how that's going to play out. It concerns them for the timing of a close. And if they have an especially motivated seller, they may be more inclined to go with an offer that is cash or private money. So
Cash or private money,
now you have a situation where you've got a sure thing versus something that could be drawn out while we wrestle with the new regulations. So it's a good question to ask your real estate agent. It's a good question to ask your mortgage lender if you're in process. But be aware that it's going to be beginning on October 3rd. After that time, you'll start seeing your first closings that are TRID compliant.
Right. So this is supposed to be a good thing for borrowers and buyers. The key term in the TRID, the so-called TRID law, is the ID part, integrated disclosure.
Right.
So they're attempting to simplify, once again, the myriad of relatively confusing disclosures that are part of a real estate transaction today. And so
which they created.
Right, exactly. Now I've heard, as this is starting to go into effect and the software is starting to be available, I'm actually hearing that, yes, indeed, in fact, it seems to be easier to understand for most borrowers, these new disclosures, and that's the good part.
Yeah.
The not so good part is that many realtors and mortgage loan originators are saying that there are, due to the now waiting periods and extra days that we need to give the borrower a chance to take these cost disclosures and potentially shop around for maybe a better pricing, that requirement for additional days is going to prolong what is already a long process to buy real estate, and hence if you're going up against a cash buyer or someone that has like a hard money lender
Right.
and doesn't have any contingency clauses in their contract, buyers may find that that their offers are going to be sitting on the table.
So I just have one major question. Mark Hanf, are you behind this legislation? Did
Yeah.
you start this? Because
You
I
know-
can just see Pacific Private Money just rolling in the dough.
I'm going to tell you, Dodd-Frank has been an incredible silver lining for the private money mortgage banking sector. So yes, our business model has thrived thanks to Dodd-Frank. But I got to say, and I've said this before, the libertarian in me hates the idea of the government imposing layers and layers
But
and
the
layers of
capitalist in
regulations.
me says,
But the
yeah,
capitalist in
baby.
me says, hey,
Well, let me put some.
Do you ever send flowers or cards to them?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Dodd and Frank, my
That's
heroes.
that's a thing of value. I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, sure.
So my take on this is I love the idea that the forms could be perceived as being simplified. I think
Yeah.
that's great. I'm all for the consumer understanding more about their financing options. Where I have a problem with it is the mandatory wait to examine the documentation, because if that consumer could have come on, it's 2015. If that consumer could check a box that says, yes, I understand these disclosures, I would like to sign my documents today, or waive the 3-day waiting period. Why not give them that option too?
It's like one of those things where you're doing continuing education, and you can't just quickly go to the exam.
Right,
You have to
right. You got to
stuff
sit there and go through
Yes,
each
I
page.
actually went through.
So does the borrower have the right or ability to waive that
No, they do
3
not.
days? So
They
it's
do not.
mandatory.
Yeah. So and here's what's got real estate agents concerned as well. One of the things that happens with the closing disclosure, which is a new document that's, like Mark said, in part one of the integrated disclosures, is it needs to be received 3 days before consummation, which is signing. In California, and but how do you document as a lender? We're the lender. How do you document that the consumer received it? Well, some lenders aren't going to take any chance with that. They're going to drop it in the mail, and then it's considered to be received 3 business days after it was mailed. Now you got a 6-day waiting period, right? And so this is what realtors are struggling to understand, because they're saying to themselves, well, wait a second, is it 3 days? Is it 6 days? And here's the other part of the regulation that we have to be especially sensitive to. If there are significant changes of 3 different varieties after that closing disclosure goes out, you can trigger a new 3-day waiting period.
Yeah. that's
So lenders
I'm
have to
talking
be.
about 6 months now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so now you get to the how are we serving the consumer component of this, which we've talked about a lot on this show. If you're a real estate agent and you have a seller, are you going to take the buyer who's got maybe $25,000 higher price on the property but a financed offer, or are you going to take the guy all cash? How does that serve your customer, the seller?
Well, if you're in a rush, then you got to take the lower offer.
Yeah, but
all that.
until real estate agents figure this out, they could see this thing as being, this boogeyman. They don't know what it is yet, but until they get a grip on how long does it really take to do it. The National Association of Realtors is saying you had 15 days to your escrow. That's not music to their ears.
No.
You know what I mean? They want to know, is it really going to take that long? We're doing a lot to educate them about it. I've been out in the field talking to real estate offices the last month or so, trying to make sure they understand how we're going to work with this. But whenever there's uncertainty, you can be sure that the consumer is going to foot the bill for it.
So on the realtor side of things, they're basically making this sound like it's going to have a potentially a negative impact on the real estate market. And so what we're looking at here is really, is this going to be more like a Y2K scare? Basically,
Right,
nothing
nothing
really
happens.
happens, or is it really going to squash or have a
I
negative
think
impact on the real estate?
I think it is going to be more in the Y2K, and here's why. Because right now, again, we're viewing this very California, very San Francisco centric, where it's a very hot seller's market. You've got a lot of leverage against your buyers. There's incredible demand, not a lot of inventory. So a real estate agent can pick and choose right now, right? They can wait for a cash offer, but it's not always going to be that way. And that's one of the things I've been explaining to real estate agents is, guys, you can't put your head in the sand about this. It's not going to go away. It's the law.
Yeah.
And we all need to do a better job of understanding it so that our clients, they go about their transaction just as they always have. And I think that's really the lesson in all this.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to cut to our second commercial break, which, by the way, this is a G-rated show. Are you allowed to use the word consummation?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that.
Okay.
Gosh darn it.
Okay, we're talking Beach Boys here. What record company did the group change to in 1970? So they had one record label, and then they changed to another one. What was the name of the one they changed to? The first caller with the correct answer wins a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. For the Beach Boys, what record company did the group change to in 1970? And by the way, I just saw a movie about Brian Wilson. It was really good. Paul Giamatti plays a very, very bad man. The man.
He was an interesting cat, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. All right, stay with us. The Best of Investing. We'll be right back. It's funny on the sports show.
Was it Decca?
No.
Oh.
I kept saying on the sports show, I kept saying the best of investing. We'll be right back. And Bruce said, goes, the best of investing? I go, oh no. Oops. You know, I don't do that on
You
this.
do that at the end. It's like
flip.
you don't want to like have to re-record the whole segment.
Oh, no. That's okay.
So email time. I never gave you an email question.
I got one
sent me an
for you.
email asking me for one, and I just
Got
It's
blindsided.
okay. I got one for you.
All right, good. He's gonna blendside me.
Oh, it's gonna
trick.
It's going to be evil.
I'm gonna go.
And when I do that too.
That's gotta. I mean, you gotta find that kind of fascinating too when you deal with people, business or whatever, just regular life, where they just can't. They you know. You're like, well, we're used to being on the radio and
Right,
talking to
exactly.
clients all the time, and it's torment. But you know,
I'm amused by people who like they're
start
even at a
sweating.
party with friends. You hand them a microphone or something, and they just want to run.
Yeah.
Do it in the shower.
Really?
Really? I can't even see in the shower.
So my wife, we were at a party the other night. She goes, "Who was the guy who was on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum?"
Oh.
Because he was so inept in conversation.
It was on the spectrum. I like that. That's good. Key code phrase.
Yeah, right.
The code phrase. Oh, that's great. Are we going into email time? Okay, good.
Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hanf and Rob Spinoza. Here was the second trivia question about the Beach Boys. What record company did the group change to in 1970?
I'm guessing Epic.
I said Decca.
Reprise.
Mm.
All right, I told you, these
trying-
questions are hard, boys.
You got to have like a 45 or 33 record collection to know the answer,
Yeah,
right? Where
that-
you would see it on the.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, we got some emails here. Mark, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
How do I know if a lender is being truthful with me? I had a hard money lender in Southern California offer me an 80% loan at 7% and a half a point, which they said they wanted up front. They said that they could close the loan in a week, but they needed the half point now. And I was a little hesitant, so to speak.
Yeah.
There's a lot of expletives here, so I can't say that. Those.
Right. So, gosh, how do you know when a alternative financing source is legitimate or not, or real? And that's so. Just as a quick, if you're a first-time listener, my name is Mark Hanf. I'm broker and president of Pacific Private Money. Since 2008, we have originated well over 1,000 privately funded loans, mostly to real estate investors and bridge loans, any consumers needing to buy a home quickly. And we've garnered a very, very strong and positive reputation for reliability, integrity, fast funding, friendliness. And the reliability and integrity part is important. And what I mean when I say that is that when someone calls us up and gives us a scenario of what they need the loan for, and we give them a quote and then issue a letter of intent, we almost never change that. And the only time it changes is if the borrower misrepresented the story, and then we have to reprice it slightly.
Right,
And we never ask for an upfront fee. In fact, in California, my understanding, my strong understanding of the laws, it's actually illegal to collect an upfront fee on non-commercial mortgage transactions.
For personal residence.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is,
Well,
yeah.
consumer.
But rental property can.
Well,
Reasonable credit.
not necessarily on residential 1 through 4 property. I don't believe it is, even for investment purposes. I don't believe you're allowed to collect an upfront fee if you're a DRE, a Department of Real Estate regulated broker.
No, that's correct.
So what does this mean for you if you're out there? You're considering using alternative financing sources, which is my friendly way of saying you're thinking about using a hard money lender, also known as private money lender. We use the same term back and forth: hard money, private money. It's essentially the same thing. If you're a borrower, it really doesn't mean anything different. But really what you want to do is, my recommendation to people is always use someone local to you. So we're here in the San Francisco Bay Area. There's really no need for any borrower under any circumstance in the Bay Area to go to a Southern California company, because there are plenty of extremely competitive and reliable and fast and reliable sources for money here. And yes, there are, and they'll remain unnamed, there are a number of Southern California private money loan brokerages that have teaser rates that they advertise at 7 or 8% and even no points. And of course, how enticing is that? If you're looking for money and look, real estate prices have gone up and it's hard to find good opportunities to buy fix and flip. The returns and the profits have been squeezed. So now you're looking at, you got to save money where you can. And where else? One of the best places to, one of the best ways to save money is if you don't have to pay high interest rates or high financing costs or high points. So of course, so those teaser rates have really worked well for getting the phone to ring at these unnamed companies in Southern California. But I have to tell you that I have seen more and more and more people come to me in desperation with 3 or 4 or 5 days left to close, having been strung along by a company not in the Bay Area who's promised them the moon in terms of high loan to value and low interest rates, and they just keep asking for more information. They keep repricing the loan. It's just, again, buyer beware. So look for Yelp reviews, look for Google reviews, look for testimonials,
Agreed.
And ask around because the local, we get our best deals from our valued referral network of realtors and mortgage loan originators. So
because you're honest.
Most top mortgage loan originators have a go-to source for private money financing, and they will tell you who to use, who's the rock star in the business. And we like to think at Pacific Private Money, we are a rock star in Bay Area private money financing. So again, for more information on how you might be able to utilize our alternative resource, our alternative to banks, no fuss, no muss, fast closing, easy documentation. Yeah, it's more expensive than bank financing. We admit that right up front. Our average loan rate's 10%, but we generally have no prepayment penalty, and you can pay it back when as fast as you need to. Anyway, give us a look. Our website's pacificprivatemoney.com. That's pacificprivatemoney, all one word, .com. Or call us and leave us a message. We'll get back to you next week, 415-883-2150.
Here's what I've noticed about private money, and I'm not in private money. I do residential mortgage, so we're a conventional lender. But when you go out to private money sources, you'll find, if you're a consumer, you're going to find that there's sort of a middle ground. And if you're getting those outlier quotes, buyer beware. It's probably something is going to come apart. That's what I've witnessed with private money deals. If you're dealing with a reputable company and you collected enough information about several of those reputable companies, you're going to find that their rates and their terms are all relatively comparable. That's what I've witnessed.
Right. There's a narrow range of the
when it's a real deal.
Right, and 2 to 3 points and 9 to 10%. That's where 90% of the loans, private money loans, originated in Northern California are falling. So if someone promises you, 80% financing for
that's not the market.
8% in 1 point or 2 points, that's not the market. So something's amiss, and just again, buyer beware.
Okay, so Dodd-Frank rules. Mark does well with that.
Right.
He makes money. These teaser rates in Southern California, they turn to Mark and he makes more. Gee, every time I turn around, Mark's making money. Okay.
Not all but against.
All right, so let's see. No, he does a good job. No, seriously, I've gone to meetings. Get this, I went to this one meeting, and Mark wasn't even there. But I basically said, yeah, I'm here. I work with Mark Hahn at Pacific Private Money, and some guy at the corner of the room stands up and says, oh, by the way, I just want the audience to know there's probably about 70 people. He goes, I work with Mark Hahn. And I got to tell you, his company, they're really honest. I was literally, it's funny, someone else yelled, hey, is he paying you? It's just totally unsolicited. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Rob, a question we got for you here. It says, given the Fed decision, should I hold off on refinancing my adjustable rate mortgage? That's a good question.
That is a good question. So, the Fed met last week. They kept the federal funds rate where it is now. There's been no change since, I think, 2009. And I think this elicits 2 responses from some folks. There's a smaller group, I should say, that goes, oh, okay, I still have some time to do something before rates go up, because the Fed has 2 more meetings before the end of the year where they could, in fact, increase like many thought they would this time around. But then there's another group of people that I've seen is far larger, and they just get complacent, and they think, you know what, the Fed's not going to do anything, so I can hold on to my adjustable rate mortgage a little bit longer. And maybe they can, but I'm in the camp that if you have a better opportunity now and it's available to you,
take it.
Yeah, you take it, because I don't think this is going to last forever. And I think complacency is very dangerous in the current market. What you have to understand right now is that the Fed did show a bit of its hand, because many people felt leading up to September and the Fed decision that employment was really the primary driver. Well, employment's been pretty good in the United States. And that number we just learned by way of their decision, that's not the only factor. They are looking at what's going on in the global economy with China, with Europe. They are looking at growth here in the U.S., the GDP number. They're looking at all these dynamics, and you know what? As that data changes, their attitude can change, and we can be quickly looking at different rates on a lot of different programs. And I say, why risk that? The other thing I think that folks don't understand often when they contemplate changing or refinancing or not doing it, what are the actual terms of their conversion? If they have an ARM loan, what could happen with that loan? I get calls almost weekly where they say, oh, you know what, I finally got that letter from my HELOC lender and it's converted. And that could mean it's a balloon note. It could mean that it's going from interest only to fully amortized. So you got to understand what you're facing if you're trying to make a decision about what to do about it.
And anecdotally, I happen to hear from a lot of title offices that we're ordering escrows to be open, that they're extremely busy right now.
With refi activity?
With refi activity, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
don't wait too long.
Yeah, there's an element of that for sure.
Do you do HELOCs also?
We do, yeah. We do home equity lines of credit. We typically do them alongside a first mortgage. So we'll do what's known as a piggyback scenario, where
What if someone already has a first and they?
If somebody has a first, oftentimes that's not our strong suit. So oftentimes you find that you can get a better deal outside of our bank for something like that, because there are a lot of lenders that specialize. Credit unions do a very good job of that, for example, and they'll have a higher combined loan to value allowance when it's a standalone line of credit than if you're piggybacks. We can typically go to 90% of the value of the home, but if it's standalone, a lot of times those combined loan to values get ratcheted back to 75 or 80.
What kind of rates are you looking at?
All HELOCs that I know about are based on prime rate, which is 3 1/4. So we would have seen that change had the Fed made a move. Prime is 3% over the Fed funds rate, so Fed funds rate at 1/4, prime's at 3 1/4. Most of your 90% HELOCs are approximately 2% over prime, so 5 1/4 or so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Are credit unions that way too?
It varies. It really does vary. I've seen credit unions do all sorts of stuff, and that's based on their own funds, obviously, so they can do what they want.
Rob, how do people get a hold of you?
They can reach me at 415-367-5959. And with RPM Mortgage, I work out of the Middle Valley office. My bio is on the Best of Investing website.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, here's our third and final trivia question. It has to do with the Beach Boys. In July 1976, the Beach Boys had a hit with a Chuck Berry cover. What was the name of the hit? I told you these are hard questions. These are really hard. Okay. The first caller with the correct answer, if there is one, call 888.
If there is one.
888-912-1190 to answer this question. In 1976, the Beach Boys had a hit with a Chuck Berry cover. What was the name of the hit? All right, stay with us. Call 888-912-1190. You're listening to The Best of Investing with Edward Brown, Mark Hahn, Rob Spinoza. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. See, what happens is, like when I know I'm not gonna be away this weekend, but next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm gonna be away, and I answer these on Saturday, the emails and stuff. But next week's questions are gonna be like super hard. I mean, literally, when I got 45.
What's the airspeed of a lady's
Yeah. If you see a snark, what are you supposed to, What happened in my third grade classroom?
Yeah, right.
All right,
the Earth is traveling at.
That's right.
Although those of you have to worry that one of the listeners will figure it out.
Yeah,
It's a
we
physics
got
game.
some people who were pretty darn sharp. I got to say.
Yeah.
Oops, let me do this here.
Never try and fool the math set, man, because when they get on it, they'll figure it out.
What do you want to cover in the last segment?
I've got some nuggets, and
Cool.
he's got some nuggets. I got a good one here. 28%
I
of
saw
homes
that.
have lost value, according to Zillow. And Baltimore has lost 48%. Now, of course, that's probably like everywhere. It's neighborhood by neighborhood, but the average market price decline in Baltimore, 48%. Philadelphia, 43%, year over year.
Really? Wow. What's going on there?
Well,
Yeah.
Philadelphia is Rust Belt. I mean, I can kind of understand that, but Baltimore, I don't really. Baltimore shipyards and stuff like that, right? So
Baltimore was really pretty gnarly years ago. Then
Yeah.
it came back as a beautiful
Rough.
right on the water.
yeah,
Oh no, 48% of homes decreasing in price. I'm sorry, it hasn't gone down 48%, but half of the homes in Baltimore have gone down.
decreasing in price from what period?
Year over year from
Okay.
last year. So Zillow says though they've gone up. They've
Almost half the prices have gone down.
half of the homes in Baltimore have seen a decline
Gotcha.
in valuation year over
But they
year.
just haven't.
They
gone
don't
down.
say how much,
Yeah.
but
Let's see here. We got it's gonna be a short one. Let's go ahead.
we had a really long first segment
Yeah, we did.
and a long third segment. If I throw it back over to you, you got it.
Yeah.
Two there, because that I only really have two things. I have the loss in value, which is kind of interesting, and the other one's just kind of an aside that maybe isn't all that interesting. America's seniors continue to amass equity in their homes. The problem is they can't get it out.
Yeah.
Because of Dodd-Frank Act, and the whole reverse mortgage thing's kind of a joke. Because my aunt owns a home that's worth like $2 million, and she can't get what most she could borrow is what $700,000 or $600.
Oh, it's
You can't tap it.
FHA limit.
Yeah, FHA limit. Yeah.
Alright.
It's just the home equity they've worked so hard to build up can serve as a valuable financial management tool.
Yeah,
for
you know
yourself.
that-
First of all, who works hard to build your home equity? Just living in it,
Yeah.
turning on and off the lights,
Yeah.
sleeping it. My equity goes up when I sleep at night.
That's right.
But
You
Keep
ready?
sleeping.
There we got about 8.5 minutes to go.
Okay.
Here we go. But that's for sure. Well, welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hoff and Rob Spinoza. In 1976, the Beach Boys had a hit with a Chuck Berry cover. What was the name of the hit?
No idea.
A rollover Beethoven. I don't know.
Well, the word roll is in it. Rock and roll music.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Oh, there you go. Okay, see, at least somebody remembered it. Okay, boys. Last
having fun,
Mark,
fun,
you,
fun.
you were just at the break talking about some stuff that I was going, what?
Well, we're here in California, the San Francisco Bay Area, and pretty much our homes have been real estate here has been appreciating, roughly just under 10% year over year now for several years. But sometimes it's interesting to hear how the little people are living elsewhere in the United States. I'm just joking, of course. But
The Lilliputians.
the number of homes nationwide losing value year over year has more than tripled since a year ago. So a year ago, in 2014, only 12% of homes in the United States were worth less from 2013. Well, now it's 2015, and the number of homes that are worth less than they were in 2014 is 28%.
Did they have just too high a run-up before, or what's the deal?
Well, this is a report from Zillow, and it says, while the housing markets may be generally recovering, a new Zillow report reveals that more than a quarter of homes have actually lost value in the last year. And the cities or MSAs that are leading the way in price depreciation include Baltimore, where half the homes in Baltimore are worth less today than they were last summer, and Philadelphia, 43%, and Washington, D.C., 40% of the homes have lost value.
But this could be one of those stats where they've lost 0.5% of value. I mean,
It could be. This report does
Okay.
not say that. So
Right,
I don't.
right,
that's an
right.
obvious question. Well, how far have they gone down? But I guess
The
what's
whole
important.
idea is they haven't gone up.
No, I mean, there's validity in it for sure, but I'm just trying, when a consumer reads that, they can go, oh my God, we've seen the bubble, it's true, it's really happening.
Well, look, we've been talking about prices peaking, and I continue to read blog posts from various real estate professionals who keep predicting that California home prices are going to peak and then maybe pull back 10 to maybe even 15%. But they were making that prediction for 2015 a year and a half ago, and then they were making it for 2016 early this year. And I don't know anybody who really believes that home prices are going to go down in value in California in 2016. Now we're going out to 2017 and thinking, well, maybe houses will peak and pull back a little bit in 2017. But we do expect it to happen. We just don't know when, because let's face it, it's called the real estate cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
It does go down. And it will go down again. We just don't know when and by how much.
And timing is everything.
Timing is everything, but also, if we get to talk about this, and Mark, not so much you because you're dealing with investors, but if you're buying a primary home, you're going to live there. So, it is an investment. Yeah, I get that. But also, what's your time frame as a buyer? Because that's a big factor. Do you even need to be playing this? What happens if we're at the top or whatever? You don't, in a lot of cases. And I want to shed some light on some other stats that I thought were really interesting.
Sure.
Total net equity has increased by nearly $1 trillion in the last year and is nearly 2.5 times what it was at the end of 2011.
Boy, do I feel rich.
Yeah, right?
Now we just have to get everyone to borrow 100% of their equity.
Net equity, right. Rack it up. So the average combined loan to value for the U.S. is approximately 57%.
Wow, that's
Would you have guessed that?
No.
No.
Yeah.
What
This
about
is
all this underwater stuff?
Well, I
That
thought it was
includes underwater and then people who have no mortgage.
California holds 39% of the nation's tappable equity, $1.7 trillion. And they're considering
Did you say tappable equity?
tappable equity. Because I know this is.
I understand that.
And then what's our last one? CoreLogic reported in June that 254,000 properties regained equity in the first quarter of 2015, bringing the total of mortgage properties with equity to 44.9 million. That's a lot of houses.
That is. That's actually, and then I've got something that kind of piggybacks off that a little bit, Rob, is that article here that says America's seniors continue to amass equity in their homes.
Yeah.
It talks about how the home equity they've worked so hard to build up can serve as a valuable financial management tool for years to come. Now, of course, I happen to know that Dodd-Frank has actually made it much more difficult for seniors to borrow against the equity in their home. And here in the Bay Area, if you're living in my aunt lives in a home that's worth nearly $2 million in Mill Valley, and she can only borrow on a reverse mortgage up to the FHA limit of
625.5.
Right, that's exactly right. So how does she tap that over $1 million in additional equity?
You know what I think this is doing? This is really forcing the next generation. If you're free and clear already, or you're in that situation, you're on the Zin, that's a little more difficult. But going forward, I think people have to realize that their house is part of a bigger picture, and just the goal of paying off the house is not in and of itself, it's not an exclusive goal.
Okay, 2 pieces of advice for your aunt. I like that aunt, not aunt, aunt.
Yeah.
Airbnb.
Yeah, that's true.
And rent out rooms in the house.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, she doesn't want to sell the home ever. She wants to pass it along to her kids, which is a great thing. And but you're right. Because she's got $1 million worth of equity in the home, but I can't legally make her a loan because she's on Social Security. So she can't demonstrate the ability to afford the payments on a home equity loan. So such the quandary it is.
It is possible to be free and clear and not have the money you need to live. So I think what people need to be aware of that as they do their retirement planning.
So sell the house to the kids, let the kids qualify for a mortgage, let her rent the house from the kids.
There's all kinds of
strategic things you can do.
Yes, you can do.
But those are strategies that are not first tier strategies in most people's mind, and so you have to be a little bit more savvy to recognize that and actually make it happen. I think Mark's point is, how do these people go for the common solution? Doesn't apply in that case.
Right, and we get a lot of phone calls from people who have gobs of equity and they're living on Social Security or some other fixed income, and they just they don't know. They haven't been part of the Dodd-Frank financial and banking and lending reforms, and they call up thinking, oh well, I can get a $200,000 hard money loan to remodel my house and sell it, only to find out
ATR.
I can't.
Ability to repay.
The other thing is it's hard for them to sell the house to an investor and rent it back because the rate of return for the investor is not going to be very good. They're not willing to pay $10,000 a month.
We used to see that happen in the boom years where people were trying to finance 100% of a rental property that was already at a high price, and you look at them and you go, Well, what if you accomplish your goal? Because if you got 100% financing on a property that's that expensive, how are you ever going to rent it out? How are you going to get a rate of return on your rent? You're not going to cover that amount of mortgages at those rates.
That's true.
So yeah, it was dynamics on both sides.
Well, next week we'll be talking about the July numbers for the Case-Shiller Index. So I'll be curious to see if the rate of appreciation in the San Francisco Bay Area has gone down, because it has not changed in virtually a year.
And next week, hopefully, we'll have George Hobica, president of Airfare Watchdog. Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
That's gonna be cool. Okay, here's our thoughts for the day. Orlando Magic's Pat Williams said, "We can't win at home. We can't win on the road. I just can't figure out where else to play." And Duffy Doherty, and I'm not sure who that is, said, "My only feeling about superstition is that it's unlucky to be behind at the end of the game." All right, tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away 4 free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long. Good show, guys.
Next week, I thought of calling and reminding you, we probably should have had some Yogi Bearisms.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking of that just when you said that thing at the end.
my guess
Is there
was
like a little booklet or something of all the ones that he
Yeah.
said and supposed? I mean, more